Probably help if I turn the mics on. All right, sneaking in super quick. 3 minutes left before the daily close for March 4th. That sounds about right. Yeah, Monday, March 4th, 2019. This one's going to be super quick. But I was able to sneak on real quick. Everything just happened to work out. So that's excellent. We got our 1-5-15 chart up. Let me throw up the daily over here somewhere. Let me get rid of this real quick. Let's see, USD. Yes, and we'll put the 1 day up. There we go. All right, so we could see we had a huge amount of selling coming in today. So far, candle's almost closed, so we're not going to jump the gun and get all the numbers down. But let's see, just to give or take 2.29% candle so far. We could see that this little area right here, this was the 382 that was first target off of this pattern. It's also previous support, right? So based off of this zone here and then the little accumulation area right here, finding support there makes sense. This is far from over, not far from over, but you know what I'm saying. Like, there's no telling what's going to happen next. That's why we poke our heads around TA and just try to get some kind of idea of what we may be looking at. We're 30 seconds down to closing this candle out. We can see the drop in the 15. Right, we were up to about 38.03 and fairly quickly took a deep dive down to, it looks like we stabbed, 36.85. That's the first time we've been at 36 for a little while, if I remember right. And then all the way down to 36.70 and come back up. We found support over here a few times. So one and done. There we go. We've just painted the candle out, so we are done with the daily candle. Let's hang on this screen for a minute. I just want to see if any quick buying comes in. We do have two on the 15 back about at the beginning of the hour. Looks like they were decent in here. It's been relatively quiet on the 1 minute chart. Not much happening there. And the 5 minute showed a little bit of volume when you had the buying come in after the big sell-off. So we'll see if anything shakes out of that, and then we'll take a look at the daily. I'll swing over to the scanner real quick, but this is gonna be a very quick 5 minute sort of login type deal. You know what I'm saying? I was in the middle of some things, but it all sort of lined out pretty nicely that I could swing up. It doesn't look like, all right, so you got more buying than usual has come in on the first candle. There's that little bit of volatility, but really not so much. First candle closed okay, pretty decent. Second one had buying already turned into sell. See, that's what I'm talking about. See these moves? I like watching those. As soon as we close the candle out, you get a little bit of shakeout here, try to figure out what they're thinking. So this is the biggest minute we've seen in quite a long time. So that's why we like to just hang out on the chart for a minute and just sort of see what's going on. 5 minute chart is a little bit easier to see what's going on buying wise, as far as what we could be looking at. Possible areas where we're going to have to retest, find support, find resistance. We've used this 36.87 3 times in the last hour. We've used it in the past as well. So let's pull up that daily and see what we got going on as far as our numbers are concerned here. So now that we are officially painted, we opened at 37.85.50. We hit a high of 38.04, so back into the 38s. We had a low of 36.69, so that's a big push, right? Because we actually ranged up 38, ranged down 36. And like I said, I don't think we've been in 36 for, quite a little while. Was this? Yeah, that was 37 as well. Yeah, so just that big doji over here. All right, so, and we closed at 36.98.50. All right, so it was a change of $87, $87 down, minus 2.3% total on the candle. We just talked about it briefly, but the way that candle lines itself up is going back to previous structure. And then right above the area over here of accumulation. All right, so if we tap down right at the bottom, you know, just to paint this out so you see that candle, that was the range of the candle that we just painted, right? So you can see the bottom over here, previous structure, right? And then, of course, clipping out the top over here and right on the top right here for the top of that wick. So it's okay as far as support's concerned. Breaking that level, obviously, things get a little tanky, and we would imagine more selling coming in. If the level holds, then same as the other day. Not much changes here. Of course, you broke this particular trend line right here. Of course, you broke that. You haven't broken this yet. So, you know, you made your low, you made a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high. So this swing failure right here with the higher low is a bit of a problem, and now you just broke your higher low. So you weren't able to maintain anything above this level. In this little doji we were willing to forgive, but this candle, no way. You broke and you closed below it. So it's an entirely different story once you close it. So now you have a swing failure, and you can look at a few things here. If you came just top to top, right, that's super sharp, but it does give you an idea of what you're looking at. And then the same thing here. So your swing failure candle to, oh, well, we didn't want that. Get that out of there. And we'll just do that right there and that right there. So doesn't give you much to go by here, but it is something to look at. These are just painting out what happened. So kind of like a regular breakout, except you're looking at a swing fail. So you're looking at like a drop down below. You know, again, you're looking for areas underneath it. And then you're looking for your next areas of support back down the top of this range here in the 34.61 area. Oh no, I'm sorry. You gotta hit these levels first, right? So yeah, you're looking 36.49, right, ish. And then on the upside, you'd be looking at your first target again over here, so just under the 618 of the A to D move, and then as you start looking at other resistance levels, 38.88, similar to this area right here, 38.88 to 38.97. So that's what we got for what's going on for Bitcoin. Buying's coming in, but really, you know, it's nothing crazy. 0.15 up $5.5. Let me take a look over here. Date, time. Loving your daily close streams. Marcos, thank you so much. Herbert, good afternoon. A bit blurry today again. Yesterday was crystal clear. What is that all about? Huh. Bit blurry today. Well, anyway, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me. If you caught the first couple seconds, I was just saying this one's going to be super short. Don't have a whole lot of time, but I was able to swing on for the daily close, and we all know how happy that makes me to have the fam here, you know, and talk over a few things. So while I'm here, let's just see what moved today, because of course I was away from the charts, so I know you guys know way more than I do about what happened today. Jeez, what happened? Tell me all about it. Anything? Anything good? Anything crazy? A lot of selling, I see that. I took a look earlier today. I said, let me just get a quick market rundown, and just everything was red. And I said, oh, well, that's okay, you know, no big deal. Now this, all right. So if it's ever wrong, all right, let me do this live. If it's ever wrong, just swap your cookies out, you know. And I'm suspect. It could be right. I'm suspect that it's wrong because there was a lot red earlier. so we'll find out. We'll find out if that is right. Then fantastic. Then there's no reason to worry. But what did we have there? Fuel and I think Raven, which I think Raven's still going to go anyway. I'm not overly concerned about that. Raven looked pretty healthy. Okay, so yeah, Fuel and PHX BTC. All right, I swapped it over to all so we can get a good idea on the whole enchilada as far as the market's concerned on Binance. And here's what we got. PHX. PHX came through. Now, I don't remember who told me to pop that chart open a few nights ago, but man, that thing is killing it. Again, for me, I'm not a huge fan of these, but you know, you trade them with a little bit of extra risk, and you know, it's on you, but you have to at least be aware of that. Now, the ETH pair mostly sideways. Slightly bullish for the most part, slightly bearish on the longer time frames. Downtrend, strong downtrend in the 5. So good for a pullback area. 83% of 37 lost already. That's going to target you over by the 886. So, of course, you would have to be careful. Open the chart up, be careful, and see if you have an entry or has that trend started to exhaust. That's on the ETH pair. Now, on the BTC pair, you have a strong uptrend in the 4, 6, and 12. So this could be a healthier pair for you to trade. You might have more liquidity in here. It looks like trading volume is only up an extra about 600, 500 or 600 or so BTC. So really not bad. That's a fair amount of volume for sure. Slightly bearish on the daily, longer time frame, and still the same thing, 5 minutes. So looks like it took a sharp turn south. That could be nothing more than a pullback, which is okay. Let's continue down the list here. Fuel E, 33 up, 35 down. Another super low one. I don't know what's shaking here, but the volume is intense. 23,000 Bitcoin worth being traded right there. Land on the ETH, land on the BTC. Both of them small cap. 30 with about a 50% pullback going on here. The whole trend is sideways. You know, slightly bullish, slightly bearish. So this is, the whole thing is sort of trying to figure itself out. This could very easily be in a range. And if that's the case, later on tonight, I'll pull that up and see if we break out a range. We're looking for breakout plays. KNC. So KNC was up 29%. This is on the ETH pair, which is interesting. I don't even see the Bitcoin pair. Well, I'm not going to waste any time. But I don't even see the Bitcoin pair here. So Bitcoin obviously went down. I would imagine then ETH did not get as affected today as Bitcoin. A lot of these pairs are the Ethereum pair. Ethereum. You understand what I'm saying? So not too bad overall. Now, it could be the other way around where Ethereum simply got wrecked. And that's why these pairs look better than they do on the Bitcoin side of things. But I'll have to figure all that out later as I have more time. But certainly, you know, pull the charts up yourself and scope them out. TNB, I'm not familiar with this coin. The 4-buy is very nice, though. This is a great thing to see. So you have on the short-term time frame, strong uptrend, sideways, slightly bearish. So it looks like you're trying to get out of a nasty situation. So you could be working your way out of range, which could be fantastic. You could be on the opposite end of a larger pullback, right? You're trying to come back up through there. So if you're into the low cap, 7 million, this might be worth taking a look at. Raven killing it, right? So 31 and 4, all in a strong uptrend. 515 slipping, right? Slipping out of that strong uptrend, going sideways, slightly bullish. And 6 and 12, same thing, sideways, slightly bullish. Well, the daily is still sitting there on the gray sideways mark. I do believe that's because of history, not enough history on the chart. All right, so those are the big players. Those are 25 and up. Let's do 20 to 25 would be Loom, both ETH and BTC. Strong uptrends they each have on the 1 and the 4. The BTC's got a strong uptrend on the 6. Sideways, slightly bullish for all the other time frames except the daily for both of those. 25, 24, yeah, we'll call it 25% move up, 42, 41, respectively on the way down for ETH BTC pairings. So not bad. You lost to 382. You could just be hovering on the backside of the 382, where now you flipped it from support to resistance. Next target would be the 5, unless it looks like the 382 is going to come back. All right, so again, good trading volume here. All right, 68, 78, really good volume. That's nice. Ren BTC did a 22 up. It's already sitting on the 50 line. All right, so this could give you an idea if this is a pullback. Now, there's not a ton of history on Ren BTC, and everything's sideways. It's either sideways slightly bullish or sideways slightly bearish. This is something you definitely absolutely need to pull the chart up and see if you're interested in something like that. 658 trading volume is pretty low, and the 13 mil is a low cap. So, you know, again, use your best discretion. WPR, ETH, DOC, and DOC, so BTC and ETH pairings. WPR is in an uptrend on the shorter time frames, 15, 30, and hourly. Sideways, slightly bearish on the longer time frame. So close to a 4 buy, but again, all things point to, you know, some type of large pullback or a nice break out of range. So this is something I'll definitely be pulling up later, whether I actually do anything with it or not. Who knows? But those super low caps, I think we all know I'm not a big fan of trading these little guys. 743 on the trading volume is low, but it's not the end of the world. So, you know, you take that with a grain of salt and then manage risk appropriately. DOC BTC and DOC ETH. We have, well, let's do the ETH one first. Everything sideways, either slightly bullish on the shorter time frame or slightly bearish on the larger time frame. DOC BTC does show strong uptrend in the 4-hour chart. Everything else basically just like the ETH pair below it. Sideways slightly bullish, sideways slightly bearish. The two most important slightly bearish ones are the 12 and the daily. So the longer time frame is giving you a better glimpse as to what's actually shaking over there. All right, everybody else is under 20, 25%. A couple screamers out here. Wabi, Theta continuing to move up the pack here, 16%. That's great. What else? What do we recognize here? Singles still cruising. Nice. Storm was busy. All right, that's good. That's good. Bat's picking up. 12%, 44 down. Lots of trading volume with Bat. That's fantastic. Yo-Yo's making some moves, 12%. 52 on a rebase from that 12, so basically up 6 today. Pondy doing a few things. Back down to 50. Tron, look at this freaking volume. That's crazy. So Tron, Tether, up 12. Lost 10% of that 12 so far. Syndicator moved a little bit. Steam moved a little bit. Pivx moved a little bit. Sky, IOTA, App, DGD, Knowles, right? These are all winners for today. So it's funny when you look at some of the charts, not some of the charts, some of the daily, you know, breakdown things. I mean, it was red across the board. This is much more pleasant, you know. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot green. Now, of course, you got something like PPT, right? 10% up and 131 retrace, which means you lost 100% of the 10 up. And then from that, you've also lost an additional 30%. So, you know, some things can be rugged, but it is what it is. All right, let's take a look at G-Byte is green. Fantastic, Snow. That's really good. Snow, adjust your settings, go to the wheel icon, then select better feed on my computer now, and it's fine. Thank you. Awesome. Ricky Thompson, what's up? Marcos, thank you for helping Snow out. Ricky Thompson, that was yesterday on PHY, and the picture is fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know we've tried that before. Let me just pull up YouTube real quick, just so it sounds like you guys know what the deal is. And we'll try not to do Inception over here, but let me just go to the channel real quick. There's a little gear wheel Now it should be automatic, but yeah, we are gonna do Inception. Now it should be automatic, but
Things
yeah,
are gonna
we
get
are
crazy.
gonna do Inception.
Right here.
Now it should be
Gear wheel.
automatic, but
So you click the gear wheel and you go to quality.
Now it should be
And then,
but,
you know, if it's on
so you
auto,
click
that's
the
fine.
gear
If
wheel
you
and
want
you
to
go
set
to
quality,
quality,
you can do that too.
gear
And
wheel,
then,
but,
you know, if it's on
so you
auto,
click
that's
the gear
fine.
wheel. I had to close that because it had audio, and I had audio, so it was like this ever looping delay of me trying to explain something. It was not good. You guys probably didn't hear it, but it wasn't very good for me. Anyway, all right. So that's Theta Wick down to the 6-1. Oh man, you guys are gonna make me pull a chart up real quick. All right, hold on. Theta BTC. Ba, 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 da, ba, 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 ba. Look at that. Oh man, look at that. This is great. Okay, so obviously we talked about this. This is that cup and handle. I think we went back and we explained, you know how we build the cup and handle, how we paint it, how we throw it on, how we get our markings, and then how do we get our targets afterwards. So this was our handle. That was our, I believe, it was a 382. It's a shallow retrace. We can get rid of all this crap over here. Okay. So we had a 382 retrace, right, which was good. That marked our level zone, right? Once we were up there, we were looking to make this move, right? That would have been a full completion of the cup and handle. But we had this big dramatic move over here. So what we did was we looked for a pullback area, right? Continuation of trend, right? That's really what it all comes down to for this particular move. You know, you're looking at a continuation of trend. We had these nice moves up here, 1, 2, 3 big days. Smash down. We set our targets in between the 5 and the 618, right? As a healthy move. The bottom of this target here was the top of this previous structure. So we didn't hit it. Now it's not over yet. We don't know that it's not going to continue and work its way down and retest this level again and come further. But this is that's a real good hit right there. And I'll tell you what, even if you just stabbed it and then got out and then readjusted your entry again, I mean, that's an instant 11% gain. Well, I don't know about instant. There's a daily candle. That could have taken 23 hours, all right? But whatever. You could have taken that quick bite, right, snapped it back, and if you think this is going to continue down, you would have just ripped, 12%, and then just said, all right, I'm cool, and let me just put my entry back down here again, and we'll work our way back down. There's no telling whether this is going to continue or not. We'd have to zoom in on like the 4 hour and get a better idea on what happened. So once we hit it, we found support. That was good. And then you had a little sideways coming back down again. So, you could sort of see you're just cruising in that zone right there. Finding support again. Now you have a little bit of zigzag, I messed that all up. Zigzag? That's not right. Zigsaw. Someone's going to have to correct me because my brain is unfunctional at the moment. But anyway, pretty good area of support, right? Stabbed down right into it, came up, dropped back down again, right? Pushed back up again, came back down, tested previous structure high. So again, this is all the same as a daily chart. It's just these are hourly candles, but structure is very similar. So you have a low, you have a higher low, you have a high, you have a higher low, and then you have a higher high, and then you have a higher low. And you like to see this type of respect as far as structure is concerned. This little zone right here is good, right? This is coming up, making a high, swinging back down, retesting lows, coming back up, making a new high, coming back down, and retesting those previous highs, right? Market structure. Very cool stuff. Something that, we talk about day in and day out until you guys are totally sick of me talking about market structure and yada, 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 yada. So anyway, that's Ricky's fault, right? Ricky, I'm blaming you for making me pull that chart up, but it was totally worth it. It's waiting for you to break out and beat. Could you guys hear that echo? You shouldn't have been. Hopefully you didn't. It's super unprofessional on my end. Sorry, but, if you want to do some echo stuff, that's fine. We can play around with that one night when things are better. Do you think the market is waiting for direction from BTC as they are going down with it? That's a really good question. No, I don't. If you asked me that question last year, I probably would have jumped the gun and said yes. But not so much. Bitcoin is, of course, like if you're looking at a Bitcoin pairing, which is a majority of them, right? So, you have more BTC pairs than any other pairing in crypto, period, hands down, right? That's every exchange across the board, including OTC, so you're talking if Bitcoin does something crazy, right, is everybody else going to sort of wait on the sidelines until it settles out? It used to be very much the case when Bitcoin did something wild, when Bitcoin had a $200 candle, all the alts would, literally shut down. They would just go nuts, and not in a good way. So what we used to say was if Bitcoin goes up, all the alts go down. If Bitcoin goes down, all the alts go down. Right? Not very good for the alts, right? Bitcoin goes sideways and the alts come out and it's party time. Just absolutely bananas, every coin, every day, there's something going up 80%, 90%. Within a week, they're up 2, 3, 4, 500%. Just absolutely nuts. That's why when you find like Bitcoin in a range, you know what I mean, then you're okay. Now, this is a daily chart, so this is a very small range, but it's nonetheless, you're basically topping out around 15.7 and you're down below 12.6. Now, this was a shock for, a lot of people and everybody at the time, and everybody was sort of expecting this to just continue back on, just a healthy pullback, and then but when you fail to make that next high, that's this guy right here. This is a pullback fail, right? So you should have came up and done that. You didn't. You came down here. So, obviously I didn't know it then. I know it now. This would have been indication that we would have one more run up, which is this guy. And at that point, you would have gotten out. So you would have saved face at 17.2 instead of 19.6, but certainly better than, 5,800. But regardless, so that's the way it used to be. Now things have settled out in a way where alts are trying to decouple themselves from what happens with Bitcoin. But nothing will ever change trading pairs, except for the advent of stable coins where traders can simply stay in the stable coin, jump out, make a few moves, and jump back in instead of being tied to Bitcoin as the pairing. So even if they were in Bitcoin or out of Bitcoin, let's say they were in Bitcoin and we started to go down, they would have just simply jumped out. Now, would they be looking for opportunities to get into alts? My belief is yes. Traders want to trade. It's sort of in our blood. So if there's an opportunity or if there's a setup, then yeah, I think they're going to go and they're not going to worry about Bitcoin doing what Bitcoin's doing. That's one avenue of thinking, and I think we see that here. I think we're seeing that. Now it used to be the case, right? It would basically look like this, right? It used to be the case that Bitcoin has a big move down, a 2% move down, and everything's bleeding, just completely bleeding. But you got winners today. You got winners in the last 24 hours of trading. You got winners. 34% in a 24-hour period is absolutely fantastic. I mean, you'd pray to get that in a week, right? So 34 in a day in a 24-hour period on a right setup on the right trade, This is super low cap coin, but you know, I'm just using that as an example. So I think for the most part, I think they are trying to decouple themselves. I think some pairings will always be relegated, at least not always, but for the short term, you know, Litecoin, Ethereum, Tron, XRP, you know, the big players, right? The top 10, top 20 coins, I think, are very, very, very closely tied to Bitcoin. And those traders are high market cap traders. So they're only trading those coins. And they're only trading those pairs. And you only want to be in the one that's outpacing the pack. So if you know, XRP is moving faster than Bitcoin is, then you would be in XRP, outside of being in Bitcoin. But if Litecoin is moving faster than Bitcoin, then you'd be in Litecoin. And then whenever you're not trading, you would then go back to like Tether or something like that. So you basically dip into the quickest mover as long as there's a setup, and then you dip back out of the market so that you don't have to watch the rest of the blood. I hope that kind of answers your question. We'll see. We can get into that more detail another night for sure. But for me, for now, I do have to go. I appreciate everybody coming, hanging out, saying hi, and we will hopefully do it again later. But we'll again, big disclosure, we'll have to wait and see whether I'm back on tonight or not. Not sure the next time I will be on after that. But when I am, I will see you there. Until then, I want to see you on the exchanges, making some good trades. So that's what I'll leave you with, and happy trading.